Alright, so hello, welcome to my little speedrun here of Super Mario World. Just a quick disclaimer, this is obviously like not a world record or anything like that. I'm not even that good, but just a fun little thing. And maybe the first of my series of can I still do it? Some things where I play some games or do some stuff that I wonder, I used to be able to do this, can I still do it? Is it in the fingers still? Is it in the body still? Or is it in the mind still? Or what's here? So, this is the 11 exit speedrun, as we see my system tell me two controllers are connected, when really only one's connected. But I think my capture card is really screwing my Switch at this point, so I gotta figure that out. If anybody knows any fixes, let me know. So this is the 11 exit run, with like no, other qualifiers. Sometimes they're like no glitches or small only and stuff like that. This is just the pure 11 exit run. I'm just trying to get through it as quickly as possible. 11 exit run means I'm going to play 11 levels before I get to Bowser. So the first few levels, you'll see that this isn't like, sometimes you watch speedruns and they're doing these crazy glitches and stuff like that. This isn't really a glitch run. This is just kind of exploiting the design in terms of the layout of all the levels of the game, and we're just going to skip most of the levels in the game, but we're not doing anything to break the game or to change the game or anything like that, at least not in this run. There are some 11 exit runs that do use glitches and stuff like that, but I'm not going to. The world record for beating the game itself is like under a minute, because you can beat the game from the first level. Technically, you can see the credits from the first level, but again, I'm just going to kind of do this as quickly as possible, but as normally as possible. So here's one of the levels that I typically struggle with. I kept my Yoshi, which not everybody keeps their Yoshi onto this one, and that red shell, a lot of people use that red shell to make a jump there, or to either kill that fish that I just hit, which I need to figure out one of those, because I always end up in the water there, and I feel like I lose a bunch of time, and it just makes me annoyed every time too. That's the main thing. I probably don't lose that much time, but it just pisses me off every time, so I should learn something there. But we're through 3 within about 3 minutes or so. Then we head on to Iggy. And again, this castle, there's nothing really new, but you can just jump over. You don't have to hold on to these cages, just jump. That'll save you time, right? Just hit the ground as quickly as you can. Don't hold on to the cage unless you have to. You'll see me go pretty long. I mean, I could probably almost make that jump, to be honest. And then you hit to the second room. So this second room, this first pillar is really the only one you need to avoid. Otherwise, just stick as close to the right-hand side as you can. Keep in mind, though, that there's a couple of gaps that you need to go over. So, like, the next pillar is going to look like it's going to hit me, and it's not going to hit me. I do want this fire flower for the purposes of beating Iggy. So, like, this pillar looks like it's going to hit me, it's not going to hit me. If you just stick to the right, it's not going to hit you. Just make sure you stop where you need to make jumps so that you can make the full jump. So here I am, jumping in. We're going to fight Iggy, and that's what I wanted the fire flower for. You see I missed my other fireball. I'm going to miss a few right here too. Yeah, terrible aim. But we end up using spin jump, and it works out. That's why I hold on to the fire flower and make sure that I can get it in that second room there, so that I can take Iggy out as quickly as possible. This cinematic here, you can't really do anything about. Just kind of have to sit back and let it roll. Which, honestly, these cinematics are kind of my favorite part of the full game anyway. Just all the different cinematics and stuff like that for each one of these mini castles. Because they're just really clever, really cute, really fun stuff. So now we're going to move into the, I guess, as close to an exploit as possible. Again, the levels are built this way, but this is as close to an exploit as possible. So you see me shoot my fire flower off screen, because I just have a habit of holding run down anyway. I want to make sure I don't accidentally kill the flying Koopa that I need, and then I get the cape and I'm off. And so really, I'm sure you've all seen it before, but you can just fly throughout this whole level. If you press back at the right time, you'll just fly up a little bit. I struggle with pressing back at the right time when I'm off screen. I'm not good at the non-visual cue stuff. So you see me coming down. I'm going to come down here pretty soon again, because I'm hitting it too early and I lost all my height. And then I hit the pipe that I need to get over. So after saying quite a few curse words and spending an exorbitant amount of time here being paranoid that one of these Koopas. So you see how these respawn off screen, but not as consistently as you would think. So I'm freaking out here, making sure I don't get hit by one, because then the whole run's over. And that's kind of been because I've been so bad, I figured out that you could just fly straight up from there if you mess up the first time. And instead of starting over, I was like, fuck it, I'm just going to go with this. So here's the water level, and I like to switch back to the Fire Flower myself. Sometimes in these runs, I'm going for safety over speed. And speedrunners will go for speed over safety. So they will continue to hold on to the cape and just kind of swim around these things. But I use the Fire Flower just to clear out my way. There's a jump here that they will do with the cape where they take that shell and hold on to it, because if you're holding on to something, and you'll see actually here pretty soon, I'm going to pick up the block. If you're holding on to something underwater, you swim much faster, which we will see right now. So you see I swim much faster, but I turn into a coward for some reason. I hadn't done this run in a while, I think that's it. And I dropped that block. Usually I hold on to that block to swim a little bit faster through this section, but I don't know what I was thinking, to be honest. It was messed up. But get the key, and then we're off to the secret house. And again, in the secret house, I am prioritizing safety over speed here. So here, there's a jump that you could do here with the feather to really speed through, to fly through here, for lack of a better term. But I'm just kind of chilling out with the booze, appreciating maybe my favorite song in all of Super Mario, and all of Mario World, like just all the Super Mario games. You could also float over this Big Boo, but again, I wasn't going to use the feather. And then here, you can fly below the level and just end up past all of this stuff, but I just, you know, say hi to the boos and jump on this mystery box and all that stuff. So then I'm on these blocks over here, and again here, if you had the cape, you could just fly up with this POW, but I just climb. You have plenty of time to get to the door anyway. Then you're on to your mini boss fight. This mini boss fight's heavily scripted. It's always going to start on the right, and then end up on the left near the two boos who are in there. So really all you gotta do is pick up a block and get to the point where you're right on the edge of the outside boo, and the boss boo is gonna end up near you, hit it 3 times, and you're good to go. So you want to make sure you finish the level on the boss there, because that way you can make sure that you get to the Star World, which you're going to use to basically skip the vast majority of the game. So here we go to the Star Road, and all we got to do from here is get to the Bowser's Castle and go from there. So these Star Road these Star Road levels are super easy. For this first one, make sure you do not get that mushroom. Unless you only have the feather. Basically, just don't get the mushroom, is what I recommend. And you're just going to go all the way to the right and just kind of drill jump down. There are ways, if you have the feather, to manipulate the way that the boxes spin to make you go faster. And then, so again, here's an underwater level. What you'll see is I'm just going to hold on to the baby Yoshi and make sure that he doesn't grow. If I eat 5 fish, he will grow into regular Yoshi, and I can't hold on to him anymore. But I'm just using him to hold on so that I can go much faster. You see that I'm going much faster than if I were to swim by myself, or even on the Yoshi. So once you see that third set of sleeping fish, you're going to just duck underneath. Do not go in the pipe, but duck past the pipe, go underneath, and you're going to find this key. On the Star Road, you need to make sure that you end all levels with the keys, not their regular endings. And you'll see why here in a sec. This third one is pretty fun. I like this one. You just kind of hijack the cloud. Again, if you have the feather, you could fly. But there's a lot of precision to that and a lot of timing to that. And as we've established so far, we're about to establish even further, I'm not good at this game. So we get through there real quick, and then we're on to the level that gives me the most problems of them all. So I do switch back to the feather here, because my goal here is to just fly across the entire level, and you need the cape to get to the key anyway. So here I am doing actually a much better job of flying than, if I could have just done this on the first time I needed to fly, this run would have been much better. But I like to come down here, because I'm not too comfortable with my visual cues in terms of where exactly I need to land, but I know that I need to end up here. So I'm going to get rid of this guy, and the goal here is that I need to jump just right so I float down here. And you see that he stayed in shell form there, which messed me up. And I fucked up. So here's where I get super angry. I basically kill that guy for no reason, and I just throw myself off the cliff. So what I should have done, what I need to be able to do is jump from that corner and kind of float down. But because I lost the feather and there's no other reliable feathers to get to except going all the way back, I have to go back to this level. So now, I told you earlier that if you eat 5 enemies, Baby Yoshi becomes Big Yoshi. Now, the important thing to note is that this is the blue Yoshi. So now you're going to see me go way slower. And now, because I know my run's messed up anyway, I'm getting this star just cuts. But you see that I'm swimming much slower. You can still swim just up to the top. Things will basically ignore you. But it's way slower than just holding on to Baby Yoshi. To swim is way slower. I'm losing count here, so I don't come down fast enough because I'm like, how many did I pass? I was all discombobulated and upset because I was having an overall decent run, and my sheer stupidity is what ended it. So I'm swimming with Blue Yoshi, and the reason I'm using Blue Yoshi is because the property Blue Yoshi is, if Blue Yoshi is holding a shell in his mouth, he gets wings and can fly. And so I'm going to use Blue Yoshi on Star World 4 to fly to get to the key instead of float to get to the key. So here you'll see once I pick up this shell, I get wings and I can fly. So basically I could treat it almost the same, but the problem is Yoshi starts to swallow the shell after a certain amount of time, and once he does so, he loses the wings. So what I typically do, I just got this mushroom for safety, what I typically do is I have to hang out a little bit more, so you see him start to swallow, and I'm just hanging out and wait for him to swallow it, so that I know I'm not going to accidentally fall at a point where I would die. So here I go again, and I'm just flying with Yoshi, and getting over this crew here. I know that means I'm close. I see him start to swallow, so it works out anyway. I wait for him to swallow, I jump, and I know, okay, I'm in the right area, so I need to make sure that I go ahead and go forward. So, did I make the mistake on this run? Yes, no. No, I didn't. So you need to make sure you eat a green shell at this point, because if you eat a red shell, even though you get the wings, what happens is when Yoshi lets go, he blows fire. And if you blow fire, if you have a red shell, even if you make it down here, you will not be able to open up that mystery box because it's on its side. So you need a shell to open the box. So you need to make sure you eat a green shell with the blue Yoshi in order to get to that mystery box. So here we go at the Bowser Castle, and it had been so long since I've done this run that I forgot which rooms I normally do. I went to room 1 when I think I usually go to room 4, and room 1, as you can see, takes time because you have to wait for the screen. It's a side scroller, which we did not really want, and it's one where you really have to get the timing down anyway, especially since I haven't gotten any boxes. So I go ahead and get through that one, and then I do end up in room 5, which is the room that I like when I'm small, because you just have to get the timing right. I watch for the spikes, and once I see that spike hit the top, I take off, and you just kind of run through there. And from here, it's pretty easy. Just make sure you don't screw up. You hit the mystery box to get the light. I do to say I could have made that jump. I don't know what I was worried about. Speedrunners will not hit that light because they know it so well. I always have slowdown here. I can't remember if that was the case in the original game. I am playing this on the built-in emulator on Switch. But we get through here, and then we hit Bowser, and once you hit Bowser's actually a pretty easy boss fight. There's just a couple of things you have to make sure to pay close attention to make sure you don't mess up. Which actually I do make a mistake in his third phase, which we'll see later. I got greedy. But this first phase, I just try to bait him so that I can make sure that when he stops to throw out the Mecha Koopas, which he's about to do, he's on the edge there. So I don't jump after the first one until he goes back. Then I jump on it, jump up, get it, and get the second one, and then get ready to throw. So, same thing. Looks like I messed up there. That can happen sometimes. And then I really messed up because he stopped, and I am terrible. So, same thing there. That timing was kind of tight, but got him no problem, and we're on the second phase. So the main thing between phases is just don't get hit by the fire when it comes down. Sometimes I will just stand between the two like that. Sometimes I'll just try to outrun it. It depends on where the first one falls. But then, of course, you get the mushroom from Princess Peach. And once you get the mushroom, you should be good to go. This one's tricky because he will really kind of stick to you, which can make timing of the cannonball drop kind of hard. Because you have to attack the cannonball jump before he's ready to kind of float up and down. Because when he floats up and down and you're Big Mario, you could duck jump, but it's just easier to just attack the cannonball right as it drops, because he's never going to do too many at once. So once he throws up the Mecha Koopa, same deal. Just wait for him. Get that up early, because on this one he's a little bit he's a little bit tighter in his pattern. Get the second one up real quick, and then he's off. And from here again, it's just make sure you don't get hit by the fire. But because we have that mushroom, and because we're Super Mario right now, it's not that big of a deal, because his final phase is typically not that difficult. That being said, I am gonna royally mess up here, which you'll see here in a second. So here's where he does the smashing, and this one's pretty easy because he takes such height after the bounce that he's really easy to run under. It's just a matter of getting the timing down with the Mecha Koopas. So he throws them out, and we go after them, and I get the first one, no problem. Now here's what happens. I got greedy on the second one. I just got greedy. And I didn't mind taking the hit in terms of losing Super Mario, but I did mind losing out on that Mecha Koopa, who I hit. Once you hit the Mecha Koopas, if Bowser touches them anywhere but on his head, that was a good throw, by the way. Then they will, they'll get wiped off the screen. You got to wait for another cycle. So yeah, that's it. Game beat. Not my best run in the world. I think my fastest run is somewhere in the neighborhood of 12 minutes. And keep in mind that you need to add about 15 seconds here, because I did not go through I have a save point just to start the run. I did not go through the first kind of little introduction part. Usually takes about 15 seconds. But, for the first time in a while, I think not a bad job. Get some fireworks, and so I think I could still do it. I think I still got it. So let me know what you guys think. What's your best run? Do you guys do 11 exit? Have you guys done some glitch stuff? Have you guys done 96? What do you think? And until next time, thanks for watching. Bye bye.